Welcome. You're listening to the I'm Wired to Inspire podcast, creatively engineered by Nicole, the inspiration specialist. I'm Wired to Inspire is a powerfully packed 5-minute podcast filled with inspiration and encouragement to get you through your day. It's designed to inspire you to live your authentic purpose. Now stay tuned for your host, Nicole, the inspiration specialist, on today's episode of I'm Wired to Inspire.
You're listening to the Black Excellence Expose with Nicole, the inspiration specialist. Thank you guys for joining me for another episode of the Black Excellence Expose, and I am your girl, Nicole, and this is set up specifically to highlight 3 dope human beings of color. And every time I introduce somebody, I always ask a question. Mind you, it's the same 3 questions every day. Consistency is key. At some point listening, something is going to click. And the same way the people you hear about inspired you, God may drop something in your spirit so you can create something that can inspire someone else as well. So with that being said, guys, I want to jump right in. And the first person that we're going to highlight today is Ian Van Sertima. Now, Ian Van Sertima was born in January 26, 1935. He passed away May 25th, 2009. Now, he was Guyanese born. He was a literary critic, linguist, and anthropologist. He was also the associate professor of Africana Studies at Rutgers University in New Jersey. In 1976, he published this book, and it was called They Came Before Columbus. It features his arguments for an African origin of Mesoamerican culture in the Western Hemisphere. He ended up achieving widespread attention within the African American community for his claims of prehistoric African contact and diffusion of culture in Central and South America. Now, in 1983, he authored The Lost Sciences of Africa, an overview, and it discusses early African advances in astronomy, mathematics, architecture, engineering, agriculture, navigation, medicine, and writing. Okay, so let's ask the first question. The first question is, how can you fulfill a need? Is there something going on that you're witnessing and you can even see that it's a problem? Has it crossed your mind that maybe there is something you can do to fulfill that need? To be of service in some way, to make some type of dent, to make some type of change. Because if that is the case, you may be the person privy to it, seeing it all the time, and it may be bothering you, or it may be standing out to you because you may be the person, and you may not even know it yet, but you may be the person that can fulfill that need. Okay, so that's something that I want you to think about. Okay, now the next person that we're going to highlight is Percy Julian. Now, I had heard of Percy Julian when I was a little girl, but I did not know what he did. I believe that there was a school or something like that in the city. And, I think that the school was named after Percy Julian, but I had no idea, who he was or what he did. Now, he was actually born in 1899 and he passed away in 1975. He was actually a research chemist and pioneer in the chemical synthesis of medicinal drugs from plants. Okay, his work laid the foundation for the steroid drugs industry's production of cortisone and birth control pills, believe it or not. So who knew a black man was responsible for creating birth control pills? Had no idea. My God. Wow. So he ended up starting his own company to synthesize steroids and intermediates from wild Mexican yam. Whoa. And this number is really astronomical, y'all, but he actually received more than 130 chemical patents. Wow. So he's, lastly, one of the first African Americans to receive a doctorate in chemistry. First African American chemist inducted into the National Academy of Sciences. Really, really, really awesome. So speaking of learning and education, my question for you now is this. What have you learned that you can teach someone? And I'm not even talking about what you learned in school, but what life lessons have you learned that you may be able to cultivate into some type of business or put up as a service or something where you can maybe mentor or help some other people or help people less fortunate than you, or if you see somebody in a situation that you were in and you know they may not have the means or they may need some help, what have you learned that you can give back to them? What can you do to help the world at large with what you know? One of the things I want you to keep in mind, whoever is listening, don't diminish what you know and don't diminish what you have. Do not compare yourself with what you see somebody else doing. That's they judge. That's what they doing. That's not what you're doing. You have to do it your way. You have to do it the way the Lord is telling you to do it. Okay, you can't do it somebody else's way. It doesn't work like that. It will lack authenticity if you try to mimic it from someone else. You have to do it the way that God is showing you to do it. And once you reconcile that in your mind, in your head, in your heart, what that's supposed to look like for you, you'll be able to walk into a position of power because you're owning what it is that you have. You're owning what you've learned, and you're able to distribute it. You're able to put it out there to people, and you can see some change in the world, and you'll be responsible for that change. So the last person, guys, that we're going to talk about, and I think many of you have heard of before, but I'm going to talk about Paul Robeson. Now, he was born in 1898, and he passed away in 1976. Now, Mr. Robeson, he is an athlete and performing artist who became involved with the civil rights movement. He was the first black actor to play Shakespeare's Othello on Broadway. He supported Pan-Africanism, sang for loyalist soldiers during Spain's Civil War, took part in an anti-Nazi demonstration, and performed for Allied forces during World War II. He was labeled a communist and staunchly criticized by government officials as well as African American leaders. He was blacklisted from domestic concert venues, record labels, and film studios due to his advocacy of anti-imperialism, affiliation, and communism, and criticism of the United States government. In 1950, he was barred by the United States Department from renewing his passport to travel abroad for engagements. So I think probably, I think most people that I talk about so far have been inventors, but I mean, he really had a lot of controversy wrapped around him. So it's just really interesting hearing that. And again, guys, everybody has their own story. And whatever your story may be, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, you want to find a way to, again, I say it just about every day, add some value, but you want to be a positive influence. You want to be somebody who is living authentically, and you are doing it the way you know is going to bring love, is going to bring peace, is going to bring change. You want to be a change agent in the world, and again, at this time, y'all, when Paul Robeson was alive, the climate was very thick. It was a very different type of life, a very different type of world. And although for all intents and purposes, believe it or not, it's still very much the same and very similar. But at the same time, when you are very vocal about who you are and what you believe in on that level, it can cause some serious controversy. So with that being said, guys, I just want to say thank you again to my niece, Lil Jordy, because I mentioned on a few episodes back that she uses the cards Urban Intellectuals from urbanintellectuals.com. And that is what contributed to our 3 dope human beings of color today on Black Excellence Expose, and she pulled these for me. So I just want to say thank you. She's 13. She's learning about our heritage and her history, and I really appreciate that. Again, guys, I want you guys to send me people that you want me to talk about. BEE@I'mWiredToInspire.com, and that's B like Bumblebee. So make sure you hit me up if there's somebody that you would like to suggest, and I will certainly find a way to add them to the show. So the last question for you guys is this: what can you bring to the world in your own unique way? What is it about you listening? What is your dopeness? How can you bring just who you are to the table? And how can the world benefit from that? Because this is what I can guarantee you. The world will benefit from it. Now, I don't know how. I'm not selling you no wooden nickels, like the old people say. I'm not selling you wooden nickels. I'm keeping it real with you. If you can tap into your purpose, if you can tap into that thing the way God is leading you to do it in your unique way, then you will surprise yourself. I can guarantee you that. I'm a living witness to that. You will absolutely surprise yourself because you are moving from a place of not being concerned about what's going on around you, but you are really being spirit led, and you really feel like you can make an impact just based on who you are and how God has fashioned you to be for your own life. And I'm gonna end with a quote. Y'all, I was looking at a live tonight from Bishop Bronner, Dale Bronner, and Tyler Perry. And it was really, really good. Dropped a lot of gems. But this is something that Tyler Perry said, not verbatim, but I surmised it for you just so you guys can check it out. And we'll roll out on this. He says, true success comes when you put yourself at the mercy of God's perfect will for your life. He didn't say it verbatim, but that's what he said. So remember that. That's all about contributing your uniqueness, putting yourself in that position to say, okay, who I am is going to work because it's who I am. There is no other option for me to be anybody else other than me. So I pray that today blessed you guys. Join me again for another episode tomorrow of the Black Excellence Expose on Wired to Inspire. I hope you are too.
It's the I'm Wired to Inspire podcast giveaway. Stay tuned for instructions.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining me for the February contest instructions for the I'm Wired to Inspire contest giveaway. Now, this particular contest is specifically for Instagram. I will be making a post and it will be speaking of this contest, and then you're going to repost it and tag 3 friends that inspire you for a chance to win a $50 Amazon gift card. 2 winners will be chosen. You must be following at robinicolek, that's one word, 1 N, and I'm Wired to Inspire for your entry to be valid. We must be tagged in your photo for us to see it. Good luck.
Thanks for listening to I'm Wired to Inspire podcast at I'mWiredToInspire.com. If you enjoyed the show, spread the word and be sure to hit the 5-star rating on iTunes. For more information on this podcast and inspirational products and services, log on to the inspirationspecialist.life or I'mWiredToInspire.com. And remember to live your authentic purpose. Thanks again, and see you next time.